the backstretch at Saratoga. This is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth, Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga on another delightful morning. If I was trying to be funny, I'd say welcome to King George and Queen Elizabeth Stakes Day, but it is Coaching Club American Oaks Day at Saratoga. And Seth, I don't think I've seen it written in 30 years, but it used to be there were 4 American Classics, the 3 Triple Crown races, and the Coaching Club American Oaks. So I don't know if the Coaching Club American Oaks just got dropped or if it's still considered that.
A good question.
I mean, it used to be written about, this, in our lifetime, the Kentucky Oaks used to be a grade 2 in my lifetime at 1.16 nondescript. The Coaching Club American Oaks was the premier 3-year-old filly race in America.
And now it's kind of tagged in with the Alabama, one of the big 3-year-old races up here at Saratoga. And typically, I've been sitting in here in years past doing some work after the show, and the coaching club goes by with their coaches.
The stone's gone. They used to have the stone out in the entranceway for the grandstand. What do they call it? The Wright Street entrance? I don't even know what the one I've been taking for 40-some-odd years.
Yeah.
When they moved the CCA Oaks up here, they brought the stone with it. And I have to tell you, Seth, I thought, because when I was very young, it was 1.5 miles. Then they shortened it to 1.25 miles for some years. Then they went back to the 1.5 miles. I had to tell you, Seth, I thought it was going to take off and soar at 9 furlongs at Saratoga. I thought it would. I thought the Alabama, which is 10 furlongs, and on dirt, that's not a distance. Heck, the Breeders' Cup Distaff stopped being 10 furlongs on the dirt after the 87 running. So I thought the CCA Oaks might eventually be like the second most important 3-year-old filly race behind the Kentucky Oaks. But it's CCA Oaks Day today. But by the way, I think we have a great matchup. We had Dave Grenning on Racing Across America the other day. David Aragona hadn't put out the morning line, but as it turns out, Nest is even money and Secret Oath is 6-5. And we also mentioned now part 2 of that is I'm intrigued to see the way the bettors go.
Yeah.
David went the way I kind of thought I would go if I had his job, which I couldn't do. And now we'll see what the bettors think.
Yeah, I think they're pretty evenly matched in, as far as the division goes. They're sitting right there, both with a couple of nice grade 1s, the Ashland for Nest, obviously the Kentucky Oaks for Secret Oath, and they both are coming out of the okay performances against the boys in Triple Crown races, the Preakness and the Belmont. Going to be very, very intriguing, to see, A, how the betting public goes, and B, how it then plays out on the racetrack as well. You mentioned the King George, Mishriff, and the ARC winner, and we can't ignore Haskell Day down at Monmouth. So it's a big day of racing around the world.
And we talked about it earlier. It's a big day for the 3-year-old colts. I mean, Jack Christopher is sort of off stage here, and now it's time to come. We think of our 3-year-old colts as rooted ground horses generally, and this is his moment now. So, and we will see, because I think many people who vote for Eclipse Awards are thinking, give me somebody, and today it could be somebody.
Yeah.
And I said this yesterday on the show. I think I think the King George is the greatest race in Europe. It might be the greatest race in the world on a given day. Over the last 20 years, it's just incredible. Enable, Manjou, Galileo beating Fantastic Light. So today's edition hopefully will be outstanding. They usually have good weather. It'll be on in just about the middle of your Racing Across America today. That's what, 10:25 we were talking the other day?
Right.
Any thoughts from yesterday?
I said when we sat down, I was sitting back here doing a little work, as I often do after the we finish up with TV, and I'll maybe sit back here for a couple of races and get some work done. It's nice and quiet back here. And oftentimes I'm kind of, I have the races going, but I won't be as keyed in.
I was wondering why the volume was up on the TV when I came in this morning.
Luckily, yesterday I looked up with about 2 or 3 minutes to post the first race and realized the Chad Brown horse, who was my top pick, was at that time 9-1 from a 4-1 morning line. Eventually went up to 11-1, and so I immediately jumped on in a big fashion. My top two produced a nice cold exact that opened things up, but I also boxed up, and one of my other underneath horses completed the triple, and I wheeled the Chad Brown horse in the first race in the double, which worked out well with the long shot winning the second race. So I was off and running in the first. I meant to go look and see what the ROI is on the Chad Brown horses currently.
Well,
because
obviously
that was insane.
Obviously, didn't watch trends on Wednesday. That helped me out. But I was just trying to double check.
I thought you never got to the trends though.
That's a great point to pull out. Oh my God, I'm so bad. But I did say it. And I'm just trying to make sure. When Chad Brown only had one favorite winner while having the four, and I think it's still standing up that he has had, of all of his winners, I think he's still standing on one chalk. Now here's something. Can you name the trainers of the only 3 horses that were the longest shots on the board that have won at Saratoga?
This year?
Yes. There's only been 3 of them.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
You're going, okay. You think there's been more than 3 horses that were the longest shot in their race that won? I think there was exactly 3.
No, I did not know the trainers.
Okay. The $89 Winter Sun Marcelo Arenas was the longest shot on the board. And if you had day 7 at Saratoga, when the early daily double would have Chad Brown and Todd Fletcher saddle the longest shots in the field to win, you win. And go play a lottery ticket today.
I should have known that because the first race that was the longest shot on the board.
Did I have hesitation in my voice? Look at all these sheets you have.
I thought it was insane at 11-1, but I didn't even kind of compute that it was the longest shot on the board. The second race, and then during the day, a lot of people were saying that. You believe that, Chad and Todd? The double and yada yada yada. So
longest shots on the board, I think. Want to go for the play of the day?
I think so.
I think it's the weekend. It must be Kevin Cox with today's DePaula play of the day.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hello everybody, Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy here, with your DePaula Play of the Day from beautiful Saratoga Race Course. We're going to be giving you our Play of the Day on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the meet, and heading into yesterday's selection, we have hit the board with both of our picks to date. As for today, we're going to take a look at the 4th race, number 1, Mose, Bill Mott trainee. This is a very consistent filly who, although a bit of a late bloomer, has made the superfecta in each and every start to date, be it on the turf, Poly, Aqueduct, Belmont, or Gulfstream. And we like that kind of versatility being shown in a maiden. She slides into the rail today, which is of some relevance because the only other time she broke from the inside, a career best Beyer speed figure was posted when finishing second down at Gulfstream. That was actually a tie for her other career best speed figure, which came beneath Junior Alvarado, who now gets the mount. He's riding here full time for the rest of the meet, so you know he's going to be very hungry. She's not facing a whole heck of a lot in here, and should be able to sit a perfect trip from the inside, and hope that Junior finds a seam late in the game. So once again, our DePaula Play of the Day is the number 1 Mose at Saratoga Race Course. Good luck, and I'll see you at the track.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $259 a month. Yes, $259 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Handicappers Report. The day is still beautiful. I tease about that because especially when you do the 2-hour set. Working here is almost the barometer going up in every 15-minute segment. And in case my notes are right, Chad Brown now has the same number of longest shot on the board winners as favorites. He still has one favorite. He had the $24 winner yesterday that my partner had. He's had a 11, an 18, a $14 winner. So no surprise. I said the other day on day 5, which was Wednesday, that the Christophe Clement winning a race a day stopped. So I don't keep up with it every day. I keep the data. I just don't. So Chad Brown has to be the leading trainer now because they were tied at 4 and he's gone on to win. And Joe Rosario was the leading jockey after 4 days. I think he had 7. I don't know off the top of my head where that stands because obviously Irad Ortiz has had a couple of days. But it's always big news up here. I kind of like it more than just the raw data of how many winners you have. I like some, whether it's turf, dirt, the price of your horse is very important to me, etc. Did you get it?
I'm pulling up the recap.
I think it's Irad. I mean, Dylan Davis had the 3-bagger the other day. Get him side. Right? He had 0 to that moment, right?
I think
he was on the duck and just eliminated.
So far you had Chad 7, Todd 6, and then we go down to Brad Cox and Christophe Clement with 4. And on the jockey side, Irad Ortiz currently with 10, Joel with 9, Luis Saez with 9, and then Bob down to Jose Ortiz with 6.
And Todd Fletcher, 3 of his runners have been the favorite, but he had the $40 winner yesterday.
Three winners yesterday, right?
Yes, he did. Impulsiveness, keep me in mind, and let her inspire you. That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
And I think weren't they?
So he ran the gamut because Let Her Inspire You was clearly the favorite.
Two favorites after the bomb. The bomb will help his ROI. Ready for Coaching Club American Oaks 11 race card?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Speaking of being ready, 2-year-olds going a distance of ground in New York on the turf, 1 mile and 16th, and it's hard to imagine, Seth, it's been almost 25 years since they stopped running those mile races, which were a little tough on the first turn. They started running these 1 mile and 16th races that, I've heard it reported how much trainers like them because it gives them the opportunity to run their horses 2 turns, which is tough in New York because of Belmont Park. Almost everything on dirt being around 1 turn for the juveniles. So here we go with the babies going 1 mile 16th on the inner.
I'm going to go 7-9 and 7-5, 9 and 3. 7-5, 9 and 3. I'll put Activist Investing on top. If people watch enough, they know that I'm always attracted to Chad and Klarovich first-time starters, particularly up here. But this is one of those purchases they made at Tatter Sales, and they've been very successful over the last few years going over and buying some horses in Europe. Newspaper of record, domestic spending value proposition among those. This could be another one of those nice Tatter Sale purchases that come over and run very well for this team. So, just those factors lead me in that direction. I'll put that one on top. Coach Petro. Cairo Prince, very good sire of first-time starters, 41 first-time starters this year, 7 wins, 5 seconds, 4 thirds, so really solid numbers there. It's Brad Cox. He can have them ready first time out of the box. Steady string of workouts. Came up to Saratoga most recently and put in a nice little workout across the street on the turf, so I think this one could be very live in debut. And then second-time starter, Reckoning Force for Joe O'Brien. And again, I took a little shot against that. Of course, the betting public liked the Joe O'Brien runner yesterday. But when I said on the show, is Joe O'Brien going to come here and first start at Saratoga with a turf sprinter yet, get it done? And so I had the horse, I think, down in the 3rd slot. And I felt a little bit validated there because the betting public was jumping on board. All of that said, I would expect he will do okay at the meet. I'll be interested to see what this one does today coming off the decent little debut effort, but for me, 7, 5, 9, and 3.
I think it's fair. The 9 to 5 in the morning line for Activist Investing. And just as a quick note, if I know Kingman was a European runner, etc., and maybe he hasn't come to the forefront of our added audience's attention, but he's way up there. I mean, he's not Galileo. It'll be a long time before that, but he's and he's not a Dubai weed, but he is very good. Just Google him up, get some reassurance for yourself. But that's 9 to 5, no surprise there. But I'm going for the upset, I guess, 2-7-3, and I say this with frequency. I think from a betting standpoint, the race does go through activist investing. I mean, they're just such a powerful operation. You have to respect them. And with a first-time starter, I'm guessing with number 2, who's scheduled to break from the hedge for Mike Baker. And but it's an offspring of Hardspun, who is just one of the great underrated, and he's still only 35,000. I'm not in that business, but if I had a Merrow, they'd be like, that'd be one of the better value plays for a stallion, I would feel. And the reason is because Hardspun was, so versatile as a runner, and he's been versatile as a stallion. So I have Luis Saez from the hedge. I'm just looking for a $14 horse, really good. And then I have a Seth as activist investing. And for third, not on your board, and I didn't hear who you like for fourth, because I know you give that out.
That's right.
But number 3, Kuth, as Claiborne Farm likes to do, one-syllable names. This is Al Stahl, offspring of Warfront, who we saw literally doing these shows, Seth, go from like a $15,000 stallion to 30. Now he's 6 figures. 2-7-3 in today's opener.
And I think it's a fun race, and I have no arguments against your top pick. Working very well for Mike Baker, and the horse could be absolutely live. You can point to.
I mean, his first of the other day at 1-2, and the coupling didn't run well. It's very. I mean, it's guessing on multiple levels. I've had sources on 4 races in my life. And it's just about the price. I mean, you just see activist investing being better. That's how I see it.
Race number 2, $35,000 conditional claimers, non-winners of 3 lifetime. They're sprinting on the grass at 5.5 furlongs.
I think you have to be the forgiving sort, and I think it's legitimate in this case with Pirate Life. One of my almost rules, borderline almost cardinal rules, is that slop races, I mean, listen, you get the check, that's all fine, well, and good. But for me as a handicapper going forward, I kind of compartmentalize and put it in its own box. So to me, it's a throw out the June 2nd race. You go back to the March 24th race down at Gulfstream Park, one of the 21st century. We're hand timing the victory as the 2-1 favorite, taking on winners for the first time. Now in for the tag. It won its debut for a tag, which gives them the opportunity. Forget what I was about to say. An offspring of Uncle Mo, Pirate Life, who's 7-5 on the board. Seth has him. And trust me, I was looking to go elsewhere. I did not think you have the 7 Brazilianaire, who is 8-5 on the morning line. I thought that last race was as comfortable as a horse will ever find, and so I wanted to go a different direction. So me and Sapp, I don't know if that's for Warren Sapp or another pop culture that I don't know, but third start since wintertime. Luis Cardenas was aboard the victory in the 2L. This is the 3L. And then number 3, Loaded Joe. A big price in here. I was thinking maybe can pick up some small pieces, particularly if Brazilianaire gets pressure today and it isn't as easy as the last time. So I went for one of the 2, and Pirate Life was the one I preferred. 6-2-3.
I have it 6-7, 2 and 1. I'm maybe more skeptical of Pirate Life than you are, but I put him on top just because I kind of agree with what you said. I think you can draw a line through the last race, but what concerned me was they come back for the tag with a horse that has shown some nice talent.
I know,
so I'm with you. I was looking around but those first 2 races are just. I think the horse can go backwards and still have an edge on this bunch.
Now it's a different training, the most important, but we've had about 3 or 4 of these that we have said on the air we don't understand the tag. There seems to be more here. And Virginia the other day, there was at least 2 more. The Brad Cox horse for $25,000. But they've won. Yeah. But I know it's more important what barn they're coming out of. So my point for me was, I stopped thinking that part.
Yeah.
So because you're right. I mean, this horse might have some skills turf sprinting.
Yeah, and it's just, as I say, I think the horse can come backwards a little bit and still have the edge on this field. I looked, but wound up with Brazilianaire second. To me off the last few starts. Just seems to be in some good form. And then Dave Donk, who's off to a nice start at the meet, has me and Sap, which is essentially a third start back kind of a thing. Had a little bit of a layoff from February until June, and I think could be primed to get back to what we saw 2 starts back. In the second for me, 6, 7, 2, and 1.
And I know I bang this drum, Seth, very often, but I think it needs to be banged even more. Just so you know, on Brazilianaire's race, you look at it, it looks like one of the great 7 furlong performances, 120 and change. The rails were up. And if you watch the race, you're just thinking, this is not what 120 and change looks like to me. So I just want to put that out there. The rails were up. I know the time looks scintillating, but go gently into that good night. On to the third race today, entry-level allowance, fillies and mares, sprinting 6.
6, 3, 4, and 7. Repealing on top for Al Stahl, a master of the obvious here. Horse debuted last summer up at Saratoga and, ran a, you would say, looking at the page, you would say, kind of a disappointing 5th by 11 lengths, but he's behind Echo Zulu, or she's behind Echo Zulu, so maybe you kind of forgive that effort. Then laid off after that, came back this year as the favorite down at Churchill, validated the favoritism, and did it in a fashion that says probably a good fit with this bunch this afternoon. Jane Gray in the second spot, debuted at Saratoga in 2020. Won that for Belmont and Company, Belmont and Godolphin, and then laid off until June of this year. Long layoff, maybe you're scratching your head. The betting public wasn't. They made it the 7-5 choice, ran second, but off that layoff, I don't think that was a fitness builder. And then Breakfast at Bonnie's typically shows plenty of early speed. Did not in the first start of this year, but that was back in February in a state bred stakes race. I would expect we'll get a little more of what we see further down the page today. But again, we have another little bit of a layoff that's maybe a concern. But I have it 6, 3, 4, and 7.
I can tell you, Seth, that probably in this week and a half, I've crossed over the ideas that I no longer care about the layoffs. I for so long had the idea that they never come back, especially the named horses. They got bet for 2 or 3 races. I'd go the opposite direction, but the game has changed so much in 40 years, which things should change in 40 years, trust me, but I don't care anymore. I mean, I wrote down, practically 2 years off. Doesn't matter. It's a filly. You don't breed her, nothing. It's an into mischief filly. Nope, that's it. I don't care. And he came back and ran a buyer's, if you want to use this as a central point that's in the paper, ran a buyer's speed figure 5 points higher after 2 years off practically. I'm going forward. Jane Gray for me, I am a convert. I don't care anymore how long they've been off. They do come back, and this is where I want to be. And as you mentioned, the June 10th, so now off that long layoff, after a good comeback race, I'm not on board at 7-5 off the 18-month layoff, but to me, that's good practice, good work into this situation, and Luis Saez gets the mount here. I'm gonna go with Jane Gray. Repealing number 6. I mean, Seth nailed it. I mean, a very impressive comeback race. But Seth, look, I just had to highlight this. Look at the last workout for Repealing. I don't know that I've ever, I mean, of course, somebody always has to have the worst workout. So July 16th, Al Stahl, friend of the program, we're about the same age, wonderful person. So July 16th, over on the main track here, 4 furlongs, 53 breezing, 105 runners worked out on that surface that day, and this was the 105th fastest one, which is the polite way of saying the slowest one. I can't think of me putting a horse in an exacta coming off a workout that was dead last out of over 100. And Breakfast at Bonnie's, I think you have to parse through with Breakfast at Bonnie's, and highlighters helped me. You have to go back to the second career start. The 1-turn mile at Aqueduct finished 3rd at almost 2-5, because then you have wet efforts that I don't think we're going to get today. So it's 3-6-4 for me in the third.
I guess it's going to be interesting to see what Repealing does with that workout because, I looked at that and I kind of thought the same thing you did. But they didn't say, all right, let's wait, let's get another work. They let it come.
No. And that's another thing that's changed. Workouts are like, they used to be, I very rarely ever talk. All I want to see is that you have 4 legs and you are working out. The stopwatch to me has become almost immaterial.
105
5 out of 105. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse motorcross in the turn. Here's the wire. For the finish.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467. And win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Seth, Merrow, Anthony, Mormino, and as you can see there, it is the Dark Horse play of the day. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway, downtown Saratoga Springs. Great spot to go. Browse, as I say, they have racing memorabilia, apparel, all kinds of things, home decor, and then go down the street to their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga. You'll enjoy that as well. Downtown Saratoga, the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga.
If you had known that Chad Brown was going to be the Dark Horse in the first race,
you are reading my mind.
You can move and groove. You'd have had the Dark Horse down the road.
I was just about to say, our Dark Horse play yesterday didn't do a whole lot. But had I been able to kind of do the Dark Horse live, we would have had a $24 winner because that clearly would have been the play of the day, that first race, and again, I didn't use it as a Dark Horse because it was 4-1 on the morning line,
exactly.
and I did not see that.
Why it's the greatest game in the world played outdoors.
But today's Dark Horse play of the day comes up in this very next race, the 4th at Saratoga. I'm going to put Harrington Rocket as the play of the day. Harrington Rocket was sold at Ocala last year. These numbers aren't necessarily significant at this point, but did work 10.1 before that sale. It's Chad Brown and Company, debuted last year as a 2-year-old, late in the season in October, ran 4th in that debut effort, but then came back for a tag, however, in June of this year and ran a good 2nd. So I'm maybe a little bit concerned about the comeback for the tag. But there was a sibling called Olympic Day that was a 2-year-old winner in Japan, so I think there is some win early. Chad Brown win early. The seasonal debut effort was pretty good. We're looking at 8-1 on the morning line. I think this one is a little bit live in here. Number 5, in race 4, the Dark Horse play of the day, number 5, Harrington Rocket for me. And I will remind Dino in the control room, you can turn yourself off now.
Yeah, just so it's not that big a deal, but Mormino will be going down the same road.
Very good.
With the way
we like that.
Introduced the
4th race today, maiden specials, fillies and mares going a mile on the grass.
I already let the cat out of the bag. 5, 6, 7, ladies and gentlemen. Harrington Rocket making the 3rd career start, which often is a favorite place that I like to look. This horse has a different pattern. The pattern I'm very attracted to is the better than odds debut. Then you get like 1/6 the price, and they run less well, and then they go forward. Tyler Gaffleone gets him out for the second start of the year. Just got beat off the layoff. That he running for a tag. As I said, I no longer care about the layoffs at all. I think this offspring are more than ready. I touched on him the other day. I'm telling you, Steph, you can take the Northern Dancers. You can take My Pride and Joy Seattle Sioux. They were almost all kaput by their 20th year of being a stallion. Not this More Than Ready. He must be like, he has found the fountain of youth, because he is still so high up there, being a stallion for 20 years, or just about. And these mile races that I love on the turf, it's the winner and the 2 or 3 others. You got to get through. It's a part of that. But now here's 8-1 Chad Brown on the morning line. See how the people react there. For second, right next door in the starting gate, number 6, Veronica Green, another Chad Brown runner who's 5-1. Tries turf for the first time. This is the 3rd career start. Irad Ortiz takes over for his brother. And for third, number 7, Broadway Boogie, going out for Barkley tag. Love the second start at 10 times the price of the debut. Now, what's interesting about that is, for a Barkley tag runner to be 6-1, that's bet. And this horse showed some early interest. When it came back at 60-1, ran almost the opposite way. Call that like a zigzag pattern, but 5, 6, 7 for me, and what I find to be a very intriguing 4th.
I used the 4 on top. I went 4, 5, 1, and 3, so I have the dark horse play today down in the second spot. I thought Jane Mast off the seasonal debut for Cherie DeVoe. That was a pretty good effort, I thought, to start the career. Nice 3rd place finish and one to build on. So I put that one on top. Then Harrington Rocket, I think, is very live in here at the 8-1 price, as I mentioned before. And then in the 3rd spot, Mose, coming off a nice close-up 3rd place finish last time, has some really solid numbers. 6 starts, hasn't gotten it done, 2nd or 3rd in 5 of those starts, though. So I think very, very playable in here, despite the fact that this is a horse that hasn't gotten it done in 6. Mose in the 3rd spot, 4, 5, 1, and 3.
On to the 5th race, the extremely prestigious Grade 1, 9 furlong Coaching Club American Oaks. And this is an intriguing race to me, because I always like with horizontal bettors, do you just take the 2 favorites and you move on and you save yourself handicapping time? Do you feel as if you have 90% of the race and you're advancing? Or do you, I think that's the way almost everybody plays it, right? You just take these 2 and you move on.
You would think.
And the way that a vertical player has it, I can't play that. What I usually do, and I'm going to admit, is a 1-punch exacta. It's hard to get value boxing them. You have to have an opinion and move forward. Who do you like in the Oaks? Our Oaks.
I could have gone either way, but I went with Secret Oath. The Kentucky Oaks, I thought, was a very nice performance. I think this is a legit 3-year-old filly that should be at the top of the division, and maybe solidifies that this afternoon. But as I said, I could have gone either way. At the Ashland, another Grade 1 event. Nest, the winner there. Then 2nd in the Kentucky Oaks, and was it Dave Rennick that was kind of pointing out the trip the other day?
Absolutely.
And, I don't disagree with that. The good 2nd, as Mike Rapoli had the exact with Mo Donegal and Nest in the Belmont Stakes. So I could have gone either way. I tilt slightly in favor of Secret Oath. 5, 3, and 1 for me.
Now, I thought Dave Granning on Thursday's Race Across America made a great point. People forget, but going into the Coaching Club American Oaks, it was 4 prominent 3-year-old fillies, Echo Zulu and Kathleen O, who aren't here today. It was 4 deep, and I loved Secret Oath on that day, and it appeared as if you were going to get around 5-1, which shocked me. I'm like, very happy. Now, here is almost the opposite for me, because first off, the price isn't anywhere near as attractive, but I think this is all Nest. I think a person who's a pace and trip guy, I'm happy to cash a ticket on Secret Oath, and there's very few bigger fans of Coach than me, and that's going back to 1982 with Land of Lucy. The book is out now, highly recommended. But to me, this is all Nest, and my thinking is, it's society underneath just for an exacta play. I'm not betting a Nest Secret Oath exacta here. Secret Oath is the horse to beat if I like Nest, but thinking that maybe today someone snookers the two of them in a little way. But for even money and 6-5, for me, there's more disparity. And I love Nest today. Secret Oath is the goods. Either one of them wins this race, they really move ahead with the 3-year-old filly division, or should they move forward? And I think, if it's Secret Oath, she moves to the head of the class. She has the two big Oaks. I mean, so
firmly
Nest,
to the head.
Yeah, I mean, Nest has to beat her today. She can't lose both Oaks, or it's a lot of work to get the championship. But it's a fantastic athletic contest. I think if you have, if you're a horizontal player, I think you take the 3-5 and you kind of get, you feel good about it. Me, I'm going to just try and play a small one-punch exacta. 3-2-5 in this year's renewal of the coaching club, American Oaks. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah,
We'll
just alert the guys in the control room. We're taking a quick break here a little bit early, but we'll be back to go over the remainder of the card.
Yes, more to come.
It only takes one upset to make history, especially in Saratoga, the graveyard of champions, where the dark horse can overcome the odds, defeating the favorites and wowing the crowds. The smart bet is always the dark horse.
Keen Ice has got him! Keen Ice has won the Tremors over American Pharoah in a dramatic upset.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Let's jump back in with what I think is a wide open race. The 6th race this afternoon kicks off the pick 6. We are looking at maiden special 2-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile.
And as a note, this is our first time in New York going 3/4. The reason I mention it is, for over 30 years, I have truly felt that the early season 4.5, 5s, and 5.5s, and it used to be the Tremont and the Astoria when they could run for stakes money in New York, and then we had the Flash Stakes was brought back for a couple of years. But when they start going 3/4, I think they're different animals in a way. I think you see, and I think the fillies go tomorrow. My point is, for me, I start thinking of, these are the better juveniles. I'm wondering now at the top of it, how many juvenile champions have run at 4.5 furlongs in their career. I think they start later and later.
Yeah, these days.
Yeah, especially nowadays, exactly. 3, 8, 10 to kick off the 3/4 season. And I know tomorrow, Seth, I think there's only about a field of 7, and I think 3 of them are Good Magics in the race. And Mike
off to a nice start.
And the offspring of Good Magic, he's my top pick, his son of Curlin. I'm sure they're expecting good things, so let's see how it rolls. But Rudy Brissett sends out this runner for Windstar, so always nice. They will have a very in-tuned eye for this race. Javier Castellano gets to mount. It's a first-time starter. I mean, has a good gate workout for the debut, and so here we go. Number 8, I'm going with maybe Phelpsy. I don't know, maybe Michael Phelps type of little thing. I'm thinking Chad Brown sends out this runner, an offspring of the great Into Mischief, who stands for $250,000. First-time starter, solid works leading up to this debut. And I apologize. I did not. Seth is always on top of this. Probably would have said it. Locally owned.
Yeah,
Bill Lawrence. Yeah,
I was going to say, if I see Bill Lawrence, maybe I'll ask him about Phelpsy.
Yes, good get. And for third, number 10, bring the band home. Mark Cassie's second-time starter. Now, this one wasn't up at Woodbine where he started out white hot with juveniles. This was down at Gulfstream Park, but 3-8-10.
I have it 5-8-10 and 1. Powerful on top. By Nyquist, who's win early. Steve Asmussen can't have him ready, or maybe it's going to be the second start, but they paid a lot of money for this horse, working nicely. There was a sibling called Persian Queen that won its debut right here at Saratoga back in 2019, 5.5 on the dirt, and a maiden claimer. So I thought there was some win early from the connections and the breeding. I'll tilt in that direction. I have no argument with your 3-horse, though. As I said, I think this is a wide open race. Phelpsy at $1 million from Chad Brown. Some braiding there, obviously, and must have looked great at the Ocala sale to attract a price like that. And then bring the band home, also in the mix for me. The experience does count, and this one put in a pretty good effort at 4-5 down at Gulfstream in the debut for Mark Cassie and Live Oak. So for me, in the 6th, 5, 8, 10, and 1.
Some of the bricks and mortar money.
Yeah, there you go.
The local owner who owned a horse of the year. On to the 7th race. We have New York State Breds, fillies, and mares. Maiden special weights, dashing 5.5 on the turf.
2, 9, 4, and 8. Tough Street on top. Again, Chad Brown this time for Michael Dubbin Company. 2 starts so far in the career. One debuted up here at Saratoga last year, and then laid off until November at Aqueduct. Both starts were pretty good. The last one was an off the turfer. The first one was on the dirt. So tries the turf today. I'm going to put my trust in Chad, to be making the clever move here, moving to the turf. Lasix added this afternoon, so I think this horse is very playable. And the 7-2 morning line is kind of attractive for this group of connections. Royal Dancer in the 2nd spot. Nice improvement on the number, start 1 to start 2 to start 3, and the lifetime best buyer number last time in a $150,000 stakes race. So I think this horse is primed for a good contentious effort in here this afternoon. And Sinfully Sweet going out for Mark Cassie for owner Tracy Farmer off a nice close-up second last time in the second start of the season. We all know the third start back can be an improved effort, and I'm kind of counting on that. And off the first 2, seems to be moving in that direction. In the 7th, 2, 9, 4, and 8.
Well, we clearly have some similar thoughts. I just have Royal Dancer on top and Tough Street a little bit below, but Royal Dancer is my top pick in the 4th career start. Has shown good speed going longer. We're on the outside. I think a very tactical position for Kendrick Carmouche from which to deal. For second, who was your 4th place horse? Because you like to give out the 4th place horse.
8, Raiders Room.
Okay, the 6th Quick Power Nap to me is a player in this race. Maybe not with the buyers. 2nd start of the year, 3rd career start today for Christophe Clement. Tyler Gaffleon gets the call. This horse was the beaten favorite off of the 11th month layoff in late June at Belmont for 3rd. Number 2, Tough Street. Your top pick gets Lasix today. Also, Seth has the 8, not in the chicklets. I have the 12. Admire My Crown is going to be very interesting for this connections for the first-time starter off of War Dancer on the outside. So 9, 6, 2. Oh, just a quick note. Admire My Crown is the end of the main body. So I don't, even though it's number 12, I don't need any luck getting in.
8th race this afternoon, $115,000 up for grabs for non-winners of one other than 3/4 of a mile.
7-6-4, ladies and gentlemen, for me, and highly respected is 9-5 for Klarovich and Chad Brown. 1 on debut, has been beaten less than half a length against winners in 2 starts. One of them being the Bayshore, which it's changed dramatically in our lifetime. But it is an early season top flight 3-year-old sprint. I think most people pick up the baton. Not counting Florida, in New York with the Woody Stevens, but the Bayshore I think really kicks off the 3-year-olds sprinting. It's been working out very sharply off the June 3rd defeat. Is on the outside. I like highly respected. Who is 9-5 in the second choice? Under Oath, my partner's top pick. Broke the maiden in the second career start. That was on Keeneland the day after taxes. Takes on winners for the first time. John Velasquez gets the call. Flavian Prout was aboard the Keeneland win. And for third, he hasn't run too many yet, but Steve Asmussen sends out a McLean's Music in the fourth career start, second start since late January, 7.64 in a highly contentious entry-level allowance.
Yeah, I'm right there, obviously. I flipped the top two, but I could have gone in your direction as well. I just thought Under Oath showed some real promise in the first two. Nice improvement start one to start two. The move from Gulfstream to Keeneland. That maiden breaker I thought was pretty solid. And again, being lightly raced, there's probably still a little upside potential. But yes, highly respected goes out for Chad and Klarovich. They broke the maiden in the career debut, which was a good-looking effort at Aqueduct, and then they came back and just missed in the Bayshore. That was a bold move off the debut maiden breaker. Then they got back to the more proper non-winners who won last time and just missed as the heavy favorite in there. Now they cut back to the sprint. They're good workouts. There's plenty to like. As I say, I could have gone either way with these. I just thought maybe a little upside potential there for Under Oath. So I went with that one over highly respected, and I agree with you. Favorite Outlaw looks to be an interesting player in here as well. That maiden breaker down in Oaklawn might be good enough to win in here. So I wouldn't discount Favorite Outlaw either. Certainly if you're playing horizontals, I think all three of those have to be tossed in the mix. Stage left,
yes.
A little bit interesting as well. Goes out for, among others, America's Pastime. I saw the America's Pastime guys over on the front side yesterday. I always like to root for
I know you don't follow baseball very much, but that's their thing, right? They have the baseball.
Yeah, they have the baseball on the.
Toronto Blue Jays scored 25 runs yesterday.
Yikes!
I think it's a franchise record, but I think it was the Red Sox. I think they beat them like 25-3.
Unfortunately,
it was 10
no mercy rule.
No, you're getting paid. You got to take your whoopings. I didn't see the play, but I think it was 10-0. And a guy hit an inside the park grand slam, which happens about every lunar eclipse in the game. But and by the way, that is definitely a gifted tie.
Yes, and purple today because we're reiterating it's Les Garten Foundation Day today, which benefits pancreatic cancer. It's in honor of Dominic DeLucio. And again, my brother passed away from it, Mike Jarbo from the Times Union, who worked with us here on the network as well. And so plenty of people have been affected by that. 100% of the money's donated to Les Garten go to their research, so it's a great organization, certainly. But it's Les Garten Day here at the track, so find a location, make a donation, but better come up a little early, 11:30 to 12:30 by the Jockey Silks room. All the trainers will be out there. If you bring some memorabilia, they will sign, make a donation, and get some signatures from all the important trainers. That'll happen today, 11:30 to 12:30 by the Jockey Silks room. And purple is the color of
their color, the diseased. One of my favorite things that ever happened here or I experienced that didn't involve horses, or even if it did, it'd probably be up there, was, and Mike was still with us, and they brought him down, and they ran the Mike Jarbo, and Larry Comas, when he called, he goes, they're off in the Mike Jarbo, and it wasn't a memorial, which I thought was great. I thought he was such a nice human being that I'm glad I met him probably about 21 years ago. He loved horse racing. He really did, and we appreciate that.
I have my spot up in the second tier of the press box.
Yes.
And now I face the track, but when I originally did, I faced the other way, and I was overlooking Tim Wilkin and Mike Jarbo. And for folks who read their battle, their banter in the battle, it was kind of like that in the press box every day. So I got the races, then I had the entertainment, the side show as well.
933 rolls it up, optional 62, non-winners at 2, mile and eighth on the dirt.
7, 5, 1, and 6, number 7. Stage Raider goes out for Chad Brown. Comes in off a couple of good second place finishes with some pretty good numbers. That there are horses in here that also have numbers and maybe even better numbers. I just thought this one was a little more consistent recently, so I tilted in that direction. Air Attack, though, for Rob Atras comes in off a really good effort. This is another one of those where avoided claim, but it was a great effort. And now they come back for an increased price. So I was kind of drawing a line through the whole voided claim question mark here, given this scenario. And in the third spot, I have Uncle Moonlight. Nice win in a non-winner, so won last time. did it in a fashion that says maybe this step up is not going to be too much of an obstacle. So for me, 7, 5, 1, and 6.
I'm 7-1-3 stage rated. You don't see too many horses on the Naira circuit. 1-20. Scored a victory a couple races back as the tactical positioning for Irad Ortiz on the outside for second. The rail horse, Uncle Moon Knight for Michelle Nevin, comes off of a career best performance in the one-turn mile. And for third, Rising Empire, who is double-digit odds, but I think is going to run well here. I think can run a buyer speed figure competitive with the top horses, and they're adding blinkers. 7-1-3. We're up to our final break. When we come back, the late daily double.
Hello. Yeah, Ken, how's it going?
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on Saturday, number 2 at Saratoga. First guest for Racing Across America is in the house. Our friend Mike McAdam. I had Mike.
It's a big day for Mike. He's way out there, and Jack Christopher. This is it.
I had Mike Rapoli kind of slotted in, but he's going to come another time. And we were supposed to have Ken McPeak. I just talked to him in the break. He's sending some substitutes from his barn because he couldn't make it in this morning. But we'll talk Ken McPeak and his horses because he's got some horses coming up in the stakes and some coming up that we'll keep our eyes on as well. And then the last segment, Sal Cumin as well won the stakes race yesterday. There's a lot of nice horses also. But speaking of stakes action, it is the Caress in race number 10 this afternoon. Grade 3 event, 5.5 on the grass.
Before they put them up, I would not be surprised if we have 6 different chicklets.
You think so?
I think.
No, we overlap.
We had one. I'm not. That's 3-5-1 for me. Star Divine, who Seth doesn't even have on his list. Fourth.
That's on the bottom.
Makes a third start since last August. Back-to-back second place finishes. Comes out of the Intercontinental. I think this race hits her right between the eyes. But the problem is I have this as a 6 or 8 horse deep race, which is fantastic. You just got to get it right. That's a mountain I'm willing to climb. And Star Divine at 9-2, and I think I'm going to get all of that, is my top pick in the Caress. For second, number 5, Toby's Heart. Brian Lynch sends out this runner before the Intercontinental, did score a victory at Churchill Downs going 5.5, and for third, number 1, Caravel. So 3-5-1 in a terrific horse race.
I went 4-1, 8, and 3, and if you look at the page, I have the 5.
Yeah, I would have the 4, the 8. They're the first 2 for me after the 3. I mean, it's...
But about time. I just thought off the last couple. The numbers are going in the right direction. Cherie DeVoe, trainee, won a stakes debut last time at Monmouth. I just think is a bona fide turf sprinter of the stakes quality. I think is very interesting in here. Caravel, nice win last time in the sprint stake down in New York, the winner of this race last year, and on that just becomes intriguing and super sensational. Mark Cassie and Live Oak Plantation seasonal debut up at Woodbine was a very nice close-up second place finish in a turf sprint. Should be a contender in here. In the 10th, 4, 1, 8, and 3.
And in the finale, a starter allowance for 3-year-olds and up, a mile and 60 on the inner turf course.
6, 8, 1, and 10. I will put
we
6,
double up here.
Topic Changer on top. Christophe Clement runner that improved nicely from the career debut, where they went for a 40 tag. And these are always the kind of moves that you're like, I'm not sure. But you kind of appreciate that off the debut for the tag, they said, you know what, let's go into a maiden special. Did that.
He got through the window.
And validated.
Bing.
Validated their confidence and validated it nicely in a fashion that says this horse will be a good fit in here. Catch That Party. Had some nice races at Saratoga in the past, and I think we'll perhaps get back to those with the move upstate. And again, America's Pastime and Company in here with Frontman. Nice win, 2 back for a claiming tag. Tried this company last time, and maybe it was a little stiff, but I think fits with this group. 11th race, 6, 8, 1, and 10.
And he's 5 to 1, but I like Topic Changer in here in a big spot. I think this is I'm expecting big things. I would like to ask Christophe Clement with the Truth Serum, did you breathe a sigh of relief when you got the horse back for 40? And I have Catch That Party second off the $35,000 claim. A nice effort at this level. I think this level is tougher than we're used to because I didn't grow up with it. And then the other flincher is Lord Flincher is my third pick for Jorge Abreu. So 6, 8, and 10 in the finale.
Coming up next, we're racing across America. Stay tuned, top of the hour. Again, Mike McAdam, a couple of players from the Ken McPeak barn. We'll go over some of the Ken McPeak horses racing over the next couple of days, but also looking forward in the future as well. And then Sal Cumin, who won the stake yesterday with Dolce Zal, and has Caravel in the Caress this afternoon, has at Hamo going in the United Nations down at Monmouth. So we'll talk about that and more.
King George in about 30 minutes. Up next, day 2 from Del Mar with John DeSilva.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.